Emotional alchemy. What is emotional alchemy? Emotional alchemy is the psychological and spiritual process of transforming challenging emotions such as anger, fear, or sadness into positive energy, wisdom, and personal growth. It involves using mindfulness to accept and feel raw emotions without judgment, allowing their energy to be transmuted into constructive action and resilience. Now that we have the definition, this is Z-Talk, let's get into it. Emotional alchemy, or rather, specifically, the weight of emotional alchemy. When it comes to the weight of emotional alchemy, a lot of people tend to, especially in spiritual spaces and social media, and that's why I fought with them, and I ain't gonna lie, some of them be funny, but people truly have monetized spirituality, truth, authentic spirituality, something that was once a gem in dirt that you had to look for, pick up, and wash, right? Has now become something that has been fabricated and manufactured into multiple and authentic gems, now sold to millions upon billions, hundreds of thousands, right? And everybody loves saying to alchemize, to transmute, and shit, that's my favorite word too. I love to say that shit. Hey, alchemize, hey, transmute. But I love to say it because I understand the process that goes into it. Now, I explained it, but there's a weight that comes with that. There's a heaviness that comes with emotional alchemy. With emotional alchemy, the process and how it goes, you're taking this negative emotion and you're having to consciously, because it doesn't start off as subconscious, and just because I study psychology and I study neurology, this is not, especially if you are not used to it, this is not something that's going to be easy. If you have not had any imprinting, any seed planted into your subconscious of emotional alchemy, to intentionally tell yourself that you're going to walk along this practice, is something that is going to be hard in the beginning, because you're going from someone who probably didn't take these negative emotions and use them as fuel, but instead you allowed yourself to live in them. Living in your emotions, negative or positive, is different from sitting with your emotions, from holding space with those emotions. There's a difference. And later down the line, maybe, don't hold me to it, because right now I'm just flowing, maybe I'll come up with something, but I'm leaning towards this, to be expected. Honestly, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. That's my word. But for now, when it comes to the intentional practice of emotional alchemy, that is something you have to consciously do, moment to moment. Now, granted, maybe this is me adding on to that weight, but in this world, this society that we live in, this society is intentionally designed for emotional reaction. I mean, look at social media, right? As soon as one thing happens, everybody reacts. Now, granted, I'm not a fucking saint. I'm not this fucking creature that doesn't have reactions. I react, but I'm just at that point now where I genuinely don't care to react to social media. but look at everybody that did it. I'll give an example if you know. And if you don't know, then shit, you're lucky. You're very lucky. There was a situation going on with this social media influencer named Reggie, and Dami, I believe his name is. And everybody was speaking on to how, oh, this one moment in this human's life, everybody, quote unquote, turned against him. Everybody, quote unquote, reacted to the situation. Now, I don't know either one of them, and I genuinely do not care. But using them as this example, Dami, I don't know if he's a creator or not, I believe he is. Instead of reacting in that moment to how this influencer Reggie came to him, right? Because they had a little moment, as humans do. It was just broadcasted live. They had a little moment, and instead of reacting emotionally, Dami exhibited self-control. But the world, society, people on the digital space and social media, they reacted. They said, oh, Reggie's this, Reggie's that. Fuck Reggie. It is funny how people can just do that. Like, I used to watch TV back then, 2005, baby. I used to watch social media back then. Or not watch social media, excuse me. I used to watch TV back then. And, like, they would be so cliche with it. Like, one person would do something and everybody would be on their ass. But, like, looking back at it, that's really how it is. And it's genuinely how it is. People will really turn on you in an instant. And it's crazy. But that just goes to show this, especially in the social digital space, it is literally designed and is literally set up, and it is literally the norm to react. But the weight, because I know I was getting in my mode. That was a little tangent. Please forgive me. I'm not sorry. When it comes to emotional alchemy, in emotional alchemy, you have to take that intentional practice, that conscious choice to say, I'm not going to allow this moment, regardless if it's social in person, if it's social over the digital space, to allow me to react. And that can look like many ways. For me, I take deep breaths. Deep breaths is real life the key for me. Now, granted, I could exaggerate and say, oh, it's the key to life. I'm not about to do all that. For me, it's the key. For me, doing deep breaths in moments in which I could react helps. Example, somebody says something. No, I'll give you the best example because I do not like this. I don't like this at all. If I'm out somewhere and somebody touches me and I do not know you, or I'm in a social space, I already have this expectation that somebody might brush up against me, so I mentally prepare myself. Somebody touches me, I don't know, or I didn't give mental permission to touch me. Immediately, I'm going to feel away, right? Emotional alchemy isn't about suppressing how you feel. It's not about numbing how you feel. It's not about, honestly, because I'm at this point in my journey, emotional alchemy, it's not about separating yourself from how you feel. It's about being consciously aware of how you feel. And it's saying, instead of reacting, instead of acting based on that temporary emotions, because emotions are temporary. Emotions, breaking them down to the foundational level, are simply chemicals in your body that your brain responds to induce a quote-unquote psycho-emotional response. Now, granted, I'm very much interpreting this in my own lens, but that's inherently what it is. Chemicals in a temporary mental state in which you assume and you can either act upon or say, hold on, this is how I'm feeling. This is an emotion. What is this emotion? Anger, sadness. Shit, let's make it more complex. I'm irritated, vexed, livid, right? Furious, anxious, if you experience that, nervous, right? I can keep going on and on, but you understand the point. I hope. I hope. The purpose is the first step to emotional alchemy is that awareness, being aware of your emotions. And with TikTok diminishing our attention span, cause shit, I'll be scrolling too, shit. It can get hard and it can become difficult to utilize that awareness when you constantly feed your brain these dopamine loops, which can either hinder or diminish the growth in your awareness. The second step, now that you have consciously developed this awareness, consciously cultivated this awareness of your emotions, of self, your emotional self, now it's choosing to always do it. And that's where the weight comes, because you can say, okay, this is how I feel. Just because I feel this way, that doesn't mean I'm gonna react. I'm gonna just choose to either walk away, or I'm gonna set this verbal boundary, I'm gonna set this nonverbal boundary, and I'm gonna just leave it be. The second step is continuously doing that, right? The second step is, now roll with me because I'm flowing here. The second step is saying every moment to moment, because in that first step, you're going to miss some beats, and you're going to not always have that hold and that awareness on how you feel. Like I said, that's like someone learning how to fight and they never knew how to fight, and they throw a punch and that punch so ugly. That punch is so ugly. That's how it is with the first step. With the second step, it's consciously doing it moment to moment. Now, that's not to say you're not going to respond emotionally. That's not to say that you're not going to act with intention. That just means every moment to moment, you're persistently, not consistently, you're persistently making the effort in emotional transmutation. And that's where that weight subtly starts to arrive, because now in that it can feel as though, damn, I'm always having to alchemize these emotions, right? And it doesn't even have to be simply just, oh, I'm aware of these emotions. All right, let me name it, deep breathe through it, and then go along my day. No. Now we getting into the thick of it. It could be, I'm feeling this way. If you're creative, you resonate. I'm feeling this way. This is how I feel. It could be frustration. It could be confusion. It can be numbness. It could be a sense of being lost. It could be whatever emotion it may be. And instead of allowing yourself to live in that emotion, you hold space with it, talk to it. But even in the conversation, you're transmuting it. But now it could be, let me take this and put it somewhere. Now you're really cooking. You take this and you put it somewhere. Put it to where a creative piece, put it to a creative piece, put it to a literary piece, put it to sculpting, put it to cooking, put it to podcast, YouTube, whatever. You're putting it towards something. And now, getting a little personal, that can become heavy, because in that second step, you're persistently doing it. You're persistently doing this moment to moment, day to day, week to week, month that goes into years. And eventually it could start to feel like, damn, why can't I, or why do I feel a way if I just sit with this emotion? That's what people don't tell you about. And they don't tell you about those moments. And those moments are not short. Those moments can go from days to weeks, to months, years, shit, if you let it, of, damn, why am I feeling this way just because I'm taking this emotion and I'm turning it into something quote unquote positive? Damn, why do I feel like I can't express my emotions in the way these other people do without feeling self-conscious about it? Because that comes with the practice of emotional transmutation, being so conscious of your emotions and your actions and your emotions that once you start to realize, damn, I'm not expressing my emotions in a way this person is this person, or these people, or they simply just letting they shit out. Shit, I want to do that. Shit, what are you talking? But that's the responsibility that comes with it. You either choose to say, okay, moment to moment, day to day, I'm going to make the conscious decision of, hey, I'm not going to react. Or with that knowledge, you make the conscious decision also of saying, you know what, fuck it, if they get to react, I'm gonna react. And that can add on to it. Now, obviously, I'm speaking from my perception, my perspective. So, shit, if you feel different, let me know. Whoever this reaches to, I don't know, shit. How your day been? Shit, throw that in there too. I'm feeling good today. How you feeling? Right now, or I get personal with you, yesterday I had a moment. And instead of utilizing that moment and living with that emotion, that confusion, that hurt, that pain, I took that moment and I said, I'm going to utilize this as a catalyst. I'm going to utilize this in my ritual. Because yes, I did a ritual. And no, it wasn't no crazy shit you probably think when you hear ritual. Anything could be a ritual. Lighting an incense before you take a shower could be a ritual. Shit, waking up and not even touching your phone and just sitting in silence is something I did today. That could be a ritual before you start your day. But I did a ritual of emotional transmutation, and I won't share that with you, but in that ritual, what I did was I set that intention and I told myself, I'm going to utilize this emotion. I'm going to hold space for this emotion. I'm going to actively talk with this emotion on this process. And I'm going to use this as fuel and feed whatever current I so desire. And what was that current? You might ask. Shit, if you didn't, I'm going to tell you regardless. Is what you're listening to right now. A viewpoint in which is elevated in thought and mind and perception. And what viewpoint is that? I tell you right now, it's Zenith's viewpoint.